Drafting the Magic features the thoughts and opinions expressed by Christian Ilton, Erik Pesolano, and today's guest, and do not in any way reflect the views or opinions of the Walt Disney Company or any of its subsidiaries.
Happy New Year, Christian. Season 3 is finally here. We're getting back to drafting the Magic, and we've got a fun episode for everybody today.
Erik, I'm going to be honest. It has been so super fun giving everybody the news of, all the new... Oh, my gosh. Let's get back, baby. It's time to start drafting the Magic once again. Season 3. We've got new guest judges. We've got new topics. We've got us still, but in video form now. By the way, if you're only listening to this podcast, you can watch it. There's a couple of different spots. You can watch us do this, or... for the betterment of your eyes, you can just keep listening to it. But, Erik, it is so good to be back.
Yeah, it is. We're not really big news guys, but we thought it might be a fun way to fill some time over the summer before we get back to drafting. And
it wasn't.
Right.
I miss our job.
I know. But, we've got a bunch of guests lined up, guest judges for this season. A lot of your favorite influencers have agreed to stop by and rip us apart for however long it takes to draft every week, which we get excited for. We want to hear their opinions. We want to hear your opinions too. So don't forget, you can always chime in by leaving a comment. Make sure you rate and review us on all the platforms or wherever it lets you do it. I'm not listing them all. We do that every week. But you should know where to go by now.
I'll do it at the end of the show.
Yeah. We'll you'll add some graphics or something with a bunch of logos of all the different platforms.
Yeah, easy.
I can't remember what they all are. But fun topic today. It's not often that we draft experiences that we have not experienced ourselves, but we can't because they don't exist yet.
They don't exist yet, and that's what's going to make today interesting, a little unorthodox. I guess we'll probably dream a little bit in this as well with our descriptions of our choices. But this is going to be a good one.
Yeah, we've done one or two blue sky, quote unquote, episodes in the past. And it's blue sky for us because we're going to talk about experiences that are coming down the pipeline. But for the company, it's probably not so blue sky anymore. They know what they're building. I'm sure, there's some design concepts that have to be reworked a little bit, but they know what they're doing and they're coming. So it's a dreamer's perspective for us, and it's a shovels to the ground situation for them. But we're going to do our the best we can to get everybody excited about what's to come.
We're going to dream, Erik, to kick off Drafting the Magic Season 3, and we're going to dream with a guest judge. And here we go. We have our guest judge. It's Sara Katz-Scher joining us. Erik, I'm so excited. Sara, welcome to the show.
Hey, well, happy to be here.
We're glad to have you with us for the season debut of Drafting the Magic, Season 3 getting started. And we're talking D23, Sara. We are talking D23, and we are...
Who isn't?
You're right. And that's why we had to do this. Erik was like, we need to do this. And I was like, are we sure we need to do this? And Erik's like,
we have to.
We have to. And so we're really excited about this. But Erik, as always, you have thrown a nasty rule into this equation.
Oh, you know how I like to do things. First, I want to ask Sara, how much of D23 did you see? Did you catch it start to finish? Now, of course, we're talking about the Horizons panel today.
Not start to finish, but yes, I will. Okay, I caught a YouTube stream of the Horizons panel from almost start to finish. The bits that I missed, I doubled back to try to see what I had missed, but we caught it pretty early on and shut everything down. I'd been in the middle of playing World of Warcraft when my friend was like, "It's happening now," and I was like, "Oh!" And I just dove over to the TV and it was just hyper focus.
All right, so you know everything that's going down then, so we have no issues here. I don't think we're not going to have the problem where I pick something and our guest judge is like, I have no idea what you're talking about. I've had that happen before, so I'm glad that's not going to happen today.
No, I hopefully remember everything they announced.
And Erik, I don't think you're going to run out of things today like you did on the parades episode.
All right, take it easy, pal. That was 3 years ago.
Well, before we get into everything, Sara, tell us a little bit about you, how your love for Disney really started, and how you've become a Disney super fan now.
Yeah, I'm one of those people who gets offended by the term Disney adult because, like, I never stopped being a Disney child. I've just been, brainwashed since birth. My mom grew up on the Mickey Mouse Club. That was imparted upon me with, Disney sing along videos. And then that really led to my love of theme parks, which extends beyond Disney, but is very focused on Disney. So I'm very much like that person. I'm like, oh, let's go to Disneyland, like all the time.
That's awesome. And by the way, we got to pay attention to your background just a little bit. Is that our Star Tours thing in the background?
Yes, it
Oh
is,
my
and
gosh.
the doors open and all of that. I think it's similar to the one that they released at D23 this year that everyone was going nuts over, which I do wish I had that one, but I have this one, which was a toy that I actually picked up at Company D many years ago.
That's pretty cool. Eric, how many times did you watch the Star Tours door open?
A lot. That was my first role at Disneyland. I worked at Star Tours.
That's so cool.
It's called a Star Speeder, Christian. By the way,
I should have worn my DJ Rex shirt.
See, there you go.
Rex, my old
there
captain.
You go.
I left the area before
C3PO
Continue came around. Yeah.
Star Tours could be destroyed in this draft. We'll have to see. I don't think it will be, but we'll have to see. But we are
seems unlikely, but that location.
It's just, I mean, if
you're right there,
we'll talk about it when we get there, because I'm certain we'll get there. But regardless, we are back. We are drafting the Magic. But Eric, you're again, we talked about it. You always create these rules. We never even got to the rule, and we said, let's get to the rule. Eric, what is our rule today?
All right. So normally the rule is we had to have experienced what we're drafting, but they don't exist yet. So that's going to be a little difficult. So today, instead, the rule is, because, of course, we're drafting the top experiences that were announced at D23, we have to pick one from each theme park, or you cannot pick two from the same theme park. So you can't pick two announcements from DCA. You can't pick two announcements from any single theme park. I don't even know if any of them did get really well for my list anyway. But you can't pick more than two from any single theme park. Once you pick from a theme park, you got to move on to the next one. And that's just how we're going to roll today.
It's going to be great. We're going to love it. We're going to question why Lightning's Racing Academy wasn't announced to be pulled 2 weeks ago and why we had to wait. I don't know why, but regardless, we are back to drafting the Magic. And for the first time ever, I am starting off the season with the first draft pick because Eric and I decided to change things up a bit. So I get to make the first draft pick. And whether I am extremely excited for this personally or not, it has the buzz of everyone. We're going to Villains Land at the Magic Kingdom in our number one draft spot. This is going to be interesting. I am worried that this will get super downscaled compared to what people's expectations are, but I'm excited to see what they do with it. I'm excited to see if they can do it in any sort of quick time. So I'm going with Villains Land back in Magic Kingdom with my number one draft pick. Sarah, what do you think about Villains?
I'm right there with you on the if it doesn't get downscaled. And when I say that, what I always picture in my head, if anyone watching this can picture that original Bugs Land concept art. And it's really lush and rich, and it has this really this great height to it and this great scale and this sun streaming in, and it just never once in reality looked like that. So when I see that incredible art for Villains, I'm like, okay, but I still remember, all the Sleeping Beauty stuff we were supposed to get in New Fantasyland that they pulled from us. I'm very optimistic that a Villains Land is what we've all wanted. I mean, this is the dream, right? We're all this is what we've always wanted from Disney. We've all been reading the boards for the last 15 years. We're going to do it, right? So it's they can't shirk on us. It's they know that this is what we all want, but it's plans change.
Plans change.
Yeah, don't they ever?
We've seen it before. We even joked about that before we started recording as to we'll look back on this episode in 10 years and see how much of this did they actually do. But I know this was one of the things that Eric was most excited about out of D23. That's why I had to take it first. I had to. So Eric, I don't know, give us just your thoughts on the Disney Villains land, but they're gonna give us a little show at Hollywood Studios for some reason to try to get us excited about villains. I don't know what they're doing, but tell us about Villains Land and your thoughts.
So let me, for the purposes of this draft, explain one thing real quick. So you picked Villains Land, right? As we move forward through this draft, there are some lands that got multiple experience announced for.
Mm-hmm.
So if it's a land expansion, you can't just pick the land expansion. You have to pick the individual attraction. If the land expansion had an individual attraction announcement. So here, we have no individual attraction announcements. It's just the land. So you can take the whole land. I just wanted to
We're working with what they gave us. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah, exactly.
But and I'm going to interrupt you. Why didn't you give us anything else? Why did you just say, "Oh, we're going to build a land"? Give something.
Well, because they showed us. They were like, "There's a roller coaster back there. You see that with your eyes, right?" Like they were like, "We're not going to tell you about it."
Yeah, I think that because they've never announced that this is going to be something they're building, you gotta do the slow rollout, right? Release the image, say we're doing this, and then you guys can find the little details inside the artwork, which is what everybody loves to do, and then we question it, and that builds up more anticipation for the next D23, which is when I'm sure we'll get the announcements for what's going to be built
actual
specifically.
Attractions,
yeah, exactly. This was also my number one pick, so well done by you. You knew I was going to go there first, and I would have. You have a little bit more pessimism about it. I'm not saying you're pessimistic about it, just more pessimism than me. I think they're going to blow this thing out of the water, and it's the reason why I think it's the most exciting thing that's coming, because it has been rare that us as a fan base have said, this is what we want, where the heck is it? And they finally said, okay, here it comes. They don't do that often, if at all. So I think that's why I'm more excited about it than anything, and I think they're going to pour everything they have into it.
All right, fair enough. I'll let you be excited, but I worry, but it is the number one most anticipated thing, and so that is why it is at the top of our draft board. Erik, for the first time ever in a season premiere, you have the second pick of this overall draft.
I have to go second. By the way, I love your optimism, Mr. Happy. Good job.
Wow.
Yeah, you're welcome. So for my pick, I'm going to stay in my backyard for something else that we've known that's been coming for a long time. And then it was like, okay, now is it going to come? We haven't heard anything about it. And then finally we got the announcement that it is coming. And I think my feeling toward this attraction is the same as what Christian feels toward Villains Land. How's it going to work? What's it going to look like? I'm a little worried, but I'm taking Avengers Infinity Defense at Avengers Campus in Disney California Adventure, because we still don't really know what's going to happen with this thing. So the anticipation is building. I thought about going Stark Flight Lab here also, but it's just, to me, that one's just kind of a throw in there to fill some space. But Avengers Infinity Defense is my number one pick here for season 3.
Wow, I did not think you would go there. So congratulations on completely throwing me off. But the question is, what does Sara think of that pick? So Sara, tell us your thoughts on this Avengers Infinity Defense, which is, I think, one of the dumbest names of an attraction, but they're really good at making bad names for attractions. So
at least it doesn't have any punctuation. Well, no, it does, doesn't it?
Yep, after the word Avengers,
it's got a
technically.
colon. Yeah, you're right.
I mean, we could dive deep into the titling of attractions, going back all the way back to Splash Mountain being a reference to the movie Splash. They make choices. Yeah, definitely. Like, we've been left with some weird ones recently. But yes, I do think, like, yeah, you're going for a strong e-ticket here. We don't know what it's going to be. It is the absolute wild card of Avengers Campus. Like, we really knew what to expect with Web. We knew what we were getting. We knew it was going to be a gamified experience. Like, we knew probably we were going to be shooting webs out of our hands somehow. I don't know if anybody expected like the level of AR that they did with that. So I think that's what we're looking at here, is what kind of tech are they bringing to this experience that's going to make it like a competitor to, say, Rise of the Resistance.
Yeah, I'm worried it's going to be a Star Tours replica, and I'm so scared about that. It better not be.
Now, didn't they show some of the vehicles for that attraction?
Yes.
They did, and it looks a lot like the vehicles from the Peter Pan ride they just opened in Tokyo, which if it's anything like that, there's going to be riots in the streets of this. Like, because that's okay. Like, it's an okay ride, but it's not
But
Rise
at the
of the
same
Resistance.
time, if we're looking at the tech, Rise of the Resistance and Ratatouille are the same attraction, basically.
True.
Experientially, they are not.
Ooh.
So it is possible that just because that's the kind of ride tech that we're getting, that doesn't mean it's not going to blow the lid off of that kind of experience.
Whoa, Sarah coming in with the logic.
Can I say this too that I think is kind of funny that Avengers Campus, 2 of its 4 attractions, once this is all done, are not based around, but use the exact same technology of 2 rides that Legoland had for a decade already.
That is so funny. I had no idea.
So Web Slingers, right? They have a ride out there called Ninjago, which is you're throwing fireballs and other things with your hands. They've had that for, I don't know, 7, 8 years now, somewhere around there. I don't know the exact timeline, but it's been there for a while. And then they used to have a thing called Knights Tournament, which I believe is now been removed. I found this out the other day, which was where you sit in a robotic arm and it just kind of flips you around, which is what Stark Flight Lab is going to be. So I think we got 2 Legoland attractions on steroids, basically, is what's happening here.
I think of Stark Flight Lab as being like teenager babysitting. Like the line for that attraction on grad nights is going to be so stupid.
Yeah. And the one that they had in Legoland, you could pick what intensity you wanted.
Oh, that's great. I love that.
Around. So it's like, I wonder if they're going to do the same thing with this. But I don't know. We'll find out.
I hope they don't. I hope you just have to buckle in and get what you get. Sorry, kids. Or sorry, grandma, whoever this hurts the most. Regardless, I'm actually really excited for Avengers Campus's expansion. Kind of like Eric said, like this is the opposite. I'm very hesitant about Villains Land. He's very excited. He's very hesitant about Avengers Campus. I think they have to do it right because they can't make it worse than it already has been. It's just, yes, like you said, we knew what we were getting with Spider-Man. Still's not awesome. So, we're going to have to see what they do. That brings us into round 2. And in round 2, I am going somewhere that I for sure thought I wasn't going to get because I figured Eric would take it after I took Villains Land. But I'm going back to Walt Disney World, and I'm going on a Monsters, Inc. door coaster? Are you kidding me? Well, right now it's 23 years later. By the time it opens, it's going to be 27, 28 years later, whenever they're able to open this thing. We're getting a Monsters coaster. We're getting the door coaster. It's going to be Disney's first hanging coaster. I am just freaking out about this. Where will it go? Will it go on Muppets? Will it go on the animation building thing that used to be there that's now Star Wars Rise of the Dumb Pavilion area? It better go there, by the way. It better not take out Muppets, but we'll get to that in a second. But I am so excited about this roller coaster, Sarah. I hope you're as excited about it as I am.
I was screaming at my television when that was announced. I was 100% that kid. Like when that movie came out, we all wanted it. Like this is a lifelong dream. This is up there with Villains for like every single person who watched that movie was like, put me on this roller coaster. And Disney was like, how do we make this a family coaster?
Right? Like how do you make it so it doesn't make children like just freak out? But at some point, I think they're catering to the Disney adults, like you said. I think they're catering to us now. So we've made it. We love it.
They're understanding that you can build a family-friendly roller coaster that's a 40-inch and up attraction, and let kids decide. And there's nothing like Thunder Mountain is not like an adult ride, like that. It's a family ride. It still has a height limit on it. Just because Monsters Inc. is a family accessible IP doesn't mean that it can't have you have to be at least this big. Sorry.
Yeah. And just PSA for everybody at home, that height check, don't get mad at us as cast members when, my kid's not tall enough. So, and you're a bad person because you're not letting my kid get on the ride. Calm yourselves. We're trying to make sure your kid is safe. Anyway, that's just my thought.
Even
Eric,
worse, don't alter their height.
Oh, also, don't follow
that.
Don't follow. That's such a dangerous thing, right?
Yeah.
Plenty of stories about all these bad things. Anyway, Eric.
No, you got to be serious about this. You got to eat your green vegetables until you get tall enough to ride, like some cast member at Thunder Mountain told me to do when I was like 3 years old, and I never skipped my green veggies. Use that on your children.
I have a 2-year-old. That is a great idea. Let's go.
Goals.
Let's go. Eric, you didn't go monsters in your first overall pick. I don't know why, but are you excited about this attraction? Are you not excited? I don't know.
No, I am excited about it. I just think what's being built in my backyard is more exciting to me because I know I'm going to be able to get to it quicker.
That's fair. That's fair. All right.
But no, I'm very excited about Monsters Inc. The whole land in itself. Like you said, we could probably do an entire podcast episode talking about where it could go and what it could be leaving in its wake. But I like the direction of building these attractions that have a little bit more high octane of an experience than what's been built in the past.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you look at Cosmic Rewind, right? I mean, you're spinning roller coaster vehicles around. I'm not sure I ever thought they would do something like that. And now we're getting a suspended coaster, and we're getting, a robotic, what is it called? A Kakua arm for Flight Lab. So I love this direction. They're always talking about a leader in technology and all this stuff. And honestly, they always wait to build something after somebody else already did it. And that's kind of happening here. But when you stick this IP with it, it's going to get everybody way more jazzed than anything else that's ever been built. So it's a good move. Got to keep pushing.
Well, and I'm also glad, and we've seen them do this before, right? And I'm sure we'll talk about what's coming to Animal Kingdom at some point. But, we've seen them just pick rides off of a truck and decorate the area around them and be like, oh, look, we built a new Disney ride. This doesn't seem like they're going in that direction anymore. And I'm sure there'll probably be some spinners that they do at some point. And,
Right.
But it does feel like this is an investment in attractions, not just we could call that Mulholland Madness, and then we could repaint it and call it Goofy Sky School. Anyway, regardless.
You're right.
It's the scariest coaster in our parks, but
it's not. I've told
Goofy Sky School, you fear for your life in a way that you just don't on like any of the other rides.
Yeah. I've told the story on this podcast before. I'll tell it again. I sat on that ride with my aunt on my left. And that's not really significant except for the fact that I had a cast on my left hand. So she's fine. She's fine. I think she's fine. I think she's fine. Anyway, we will talk about that another day. But Eric, we need to get to your second pick.
All right, Christian, for my second pick here, I'm going to take something from an area you just alluded to a little bit ago. This is an attraction that is coming down the pipeline that in the concept artwork, we couldn't really see what the ride vehicle looked like, but I think I have a pretty good idea of what it might be. And it's not a boat. I'm taking Encanto here that's going into what will now be called the Tropical Americas section of Animal Kingdom, or Pueblo Esperanza, as it were. I'm still confused on how we're supposed to refer to it, but we'll get there. I have been asking for something like this for a while. And my thought was, when you get to the end, everybody meets up in Antonio's room, and there's, the lush rainforest with all the animals, and how is that going to be interactive? And then that's exactly what got announced. So I was very excited about that, which why it's one of my most anticipated projects. Regardless of how you feel about them redoing Dino Land and all that, I just want to see how this turns out, and I hope they do a great job with it.
I'm putting a pause. Who's not happy about it being I'm sure people want to save Dinosaur.
I'm sad about Dinosaur the attraction. Like, that breaks my heart and hurts my soul. But yeah, the land, does anyone actually care? I mean, it was cute, like when it opened.
I'm sure that's exactly what you meant. But
I have delightful memories.
The amount of comments I've read about people upset that Dino Land is not being preserved, no pun intended, is shocking to me.
I will say I'm surprised that they're demoing the dinosaur playground thing. Just because it's it's an obvious kind of cool thing for kids.
Unless they build another one, right, and just kind of theme it around there, just to make sure something like that is still in the area. Hopefully,
I just feel like they have gotten less and less imaginative with their playgrounds over the last 30 years.
Yeah, and Christian knows my favorite word when they come up and start building stuff like that: liability.
Yep.
So true. Have you been to China yet?
Oh,
because Shanghai was incredible. They put you in belays, they give you a helmet, and they go nuts and send you out to climb on stuff. And we were like, "What is this? This is insane." They would never.
Oh, we've got to
nope,
get out
especially
there.
not in this state.
They would never.
But, I mean, they even redid, Toontown, Mickey's Toontown over in Disneyland. It was, hey, look, all this stuff you can climb on. And then when it got built, it was like, that doesn't look like it did in the picture. Yeah, because if somebody trips over that thing, that's a lawsuit.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. I am excited for this attraction. The colorfulness of it and everything. Like, I'm really excited to see what that looks like. The only hesitation I have when it comes to the Dinoland retheme is I don't know how Indiana Jones is going to incorporate the ingredients or the chemical compounds of mustard, ketchup, and mayonnaise on the walls still, but whatever. Regardless, I am excited for this attraction. Sarah, Encanto is going to be good.
I'm absolutely here for Encanto. It's a rare addition to Animal Kingdom that we get any sort of dark ride. They are few and far between in that park. So in and of itself, like, that is very exciting to me. We've always kind of like been at a loss for where do you take like your younger like audience to enjoy themselves at Animal Kingdom? It's not that kind of park. I mean, you can look at the animals, and you can do a lot of interactive stuff. But I think as far as attractions go, it's very exciting to see like a family-friendly attraction coming in.
Let me rewind for a second. Did I say Encanto?
Did I say Encanto? Whatever. I don't know.
I mean, I know it's Encanto.
Encanto.
I don't know why. If I said that, I'm sorry. That was, oh my goodness.
If I said it, I don't know, not sorry. What are you going to do?
Yeah, you don't know.
Like, honestly, whatever. Anyway, we are at the end of the second round, which means we bowl towards round 3. And I'm going to take something that I thought Erik might take. And this is very much I'm wearing the shirt from Mark Bricky. Shout out to the Hey Bricky YouTube channel. The vibes over rides. This is not a ride. This is definitely going to be a vibe, but it's a vibe that it's offsetting one of my favorite vibes that's already in Disneyland Park. But Mr. Lincoln is going to turn aside, and we are going to get Walt Disney A Magical Life, an animatronic of Walt Disney. I know I just lost at least some of the Disney family members who really hate the fact that they're doing this, but the rest of us that are fans are so excited to see this animatronic come to life, to see it in real life and not just sitting on a bench at Epcot that doesn't look anything like the artwork they promised us, and it just is and the weird, and the lighting is terrible, and it makes anyway. Regardless, I'm so excited for this to come to the Opera House on Main Street, USA, in that town square area at the Disneyland Park. I am stoked for Walt Disney A Magical Life. Erik, this one's going to be cool.
Yeah, I'm excited for it too. I think we talked about it during our summer show that I'm worried about the rotation of it. How often will it be rotated? Is it a day by day? Is it a show by show? Because I would hate to show up to Disneyland and be like, oh, we're gonna go watch Mr. Lincoln, and then it's all of a sudden, nope, that ain't that today.
And I immediately laugh at that, but that is a thing that people do come to see, like especially from around the country, around the world. You want to see that. So I laugh at that, but at the same time, I understand.
Right.
Well, and not to underplay the historical significance of Great Moments with Mr. Lincoln as an attraction either.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Yeah, exactly. No, I think both fit perfectly, to be honest. I just worry about the rotation. Hopefully they do it show by show, so that way you can experience both in the same day. But yeah, I mean, to Christian's point, we used to get guests all the time. I came all the way to come see that. You came all the way to see this. All right. Well.
I had somebody tell me when we closed Innoventions like early one day, we came all the way here for this. I was like, no, you did not.
Oh,
you did not. You're lying to me. Here's a fast pass. Go on a different ride. Are you kidding me? Anyway,
Sarah, fast pass.
Oh, Sarah, what do you think of this Walt Disney A Magical Life attraction coming to Disneyland?
I'd be lying if I didn't say I cried a little when they announced it. So, like, I'm for it. I understand the, like, oh, Walt didn't want an animatronic of himself in the park, blah, blah, blah. But I also don't think that those criticisms acknowledge that children today don't have Walt Disney being broadcast into their home weekly, nightly, whatever. And some of them genuinely do not know who he is. And as far as preserving the park's legacy and history goes, I actually think it's really excellent.
Mm-hmm. I like how they've defended it and been like, some people look at this guy and they don't even know if he was real. Like, this is really a cool opportunity.
Christian, you and I know, and this is our past lives, but we used to help out on first day orientation at the Disneyland Resort, and they would ask the question, how many people didn't know Walt Disney was a real person? Mm-hmm. Now, it was rare, but there were some folks who got hired to work at Disneyland who didn't know he was a real person. And just like Sarah says, since he's not being broadcast into everyone's homes nowadays, that number has to be a lot higher than it was 15 years ago even. So this is a good way to bring him to the forefront, to remind the new generation, and Christian knows this, Sarah, I say it all the time, the theme parks are not for us, they're for the future. And you got to start thinking about those things, whether or not somebody didn't want it. Times are changing.
Well, and for Disney World folks watching this, we don't have a walk in Walt's footsteps. We've never had a major Walt Disney installation at Disneyland. It's meaningful for us.
It's going to be a really big deal, and there's going to be a long line for it. Although that theater can hold a good amount of people, so I don't know how.
It can. It's a large theater.
It might actually fill up.
I can't wait to see it. 6 years after it opens, when I finally am able to get in there, it'll be great.
Yes. All right, Eric. Well, that's my round 3 pick. So now we go to your round 3 pick.
So we're halfway home here. By the way, I apologize to everyone at home who sees me keep looking down. I have both my notes and I'm tracking the draft picks here, so we know.
I thought you were just trying to avoid the sun, buddy. Anyway,
well, that too. I'm, my setup position isn't the greatest today. It's also 104 degrees where I'm at, so that's not fun. My next pick is going to be based on an IP that I think is way too long overdue and should have been done a long time ago.
I didn't even think about this.
It should have been done at Animal Kingdom. It's not gonna be, and if it was, I couldn't pick it because I already went to Animal Kingdom. But I'm jumping the pond here, and I'm going to Paris. We returned to Paris after a successful Olympics. Paralympics are going on right now. We talk about sports sometimes. Go watch those; they're amazing. But let's go to what will soon be called Disney Adventure World and talk about the Lion King attraction that's going in there. I know it looks a lot like Splash Mountain / Tiana's Bayou Adventure. I don't care. It's based on the Lion King, and that's the most important thing to me. Can you imagine the sing-alongs that will occur in that flume when you're going through that show building? This is my number 3 pick. I'm going Lion King. Can we call it Daw? I think that's kind of funny.
Daw. That's a good pick. I didn't even think about Paris. For some reason, I was looking at the international parks. Don't get mad at me, Paris folks. I know that we don't talk a lot on this show about your side of the world. I apologize. I am admitting fault. We can move on. Regardless, you guys are getting something pretty cool, a premier attraction, a premier area. This is going to be so cool, Sarah, don't you think?
Absolutely. I am a big Disneyland Paris fan. I am all for them investing further in improving their second gate, DAW, as we're calling it. It's rough over there, and I'm pleased that they are, addressing that in the same way that they handled DCA and Animal Kingdom even. Kind of needed its investment period as well. And, it's no coincidence that all of these parks were developed around the same era of Disney. But I think, they're investing in them now. And to me, look, The Lion King is wonderful. It's got just an absolutely banging soundtrack. Yes, I think like the Little Mermaid ride, this is going to be everyone's go-to sing-along ride. What I think is wild is that they're building a log flume attraction in Paris, a park where it snows.
Yeah, that's going to be fun.
I wonder if the splash will be controlled.
Certainly, yes. They can definitely dial it down.
Right, yeah.
It snows in Tokyo as well, and they have Splash there, right?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So there is a precedent for it.
Well, right. And the other thing, and Eric mentioned this on our D23 kind of review show when we just were talking about the news of it, this is not going to be our Splash Mountain or Walt Disney World's Splash Mountain or even Tokyo's Splash Mountain, because flume technology has advanced so much since any of these were built. we don't even know what they're going to be able to do on this thing. It could be like the Pirates ride in Shanghai, where it can spin around. Who knows what they're going to do with this thing? I doubt it, but who knows? So, this.
No, but that's so right, because Europeans do love thrill, and this is a park that is competing with, Parc Astérix. Like they're competing with parks that have like multiple upside down roller coasters.
Mhm.
So yes, like our parks, like what's happening in Disney World, they're seeing like they do have to have more like mature thrill attractions.
I'm just saying, if I get on that ride and there's a restraint that I have to bring over my shoulders, I have officially been thrown into a world that I didn't expect to go to. Regardless, Eric, that's a really good pick for you in number 3. So,
thank you, my friend. I didn't think I get a compliment in the season premiere. I appreciate it. You really missed this. That's how I know.
I did miss this.
How I know you missed this.
It's been a while. Regardless, now I get to go to my round 4, and I am going for the folks that aren't watching this, for the folks that are just listening to this. Sarah has a shirt on that says "Here for the drinks," and so we're going drinking, baby, and we're going to Epcot, and we're going to the lounge that's going to be at the back of Spaceship Earth, the old Siemens Lounge that they used to only have like business meetings in or private events. It's opening up to all of us, and by all of us, I mean probably 26 of us at a time. But I'm so excited for this lounge. The view is going to be spectacular, Sarah. I'm ready for some drinks.
Listen, I'm all for any and all Disney bar and lounge announcements. Like, that's just a win. I think that they understand, like, yes, we like to go out for cocktails with our friends inside the park. Like, that's the culture for us now. It's like, where do you want to go? Like, not the mall.
Honestly, yeah. Like, no, we want to go have a little martini maybe in the back before we go and get plastered around World Showcase. Or maybe after. We'll see how it goes. Regardless, Eric, I know you're excited for this as well.
Yeah, as you're stumbling out of Mexico on your way out. Yeah, I said
No.
You have another place to stop at before you get to the gate.
You better not be stumbling out of Mexico. You should be stumbling out of Canada.
Stumbling out of Mexico.
Hold on, Sarah. Where do you start in World Showcase? And don't say that you come in on International Gateway, because that's such a cop out.
Frequently do, but if I have to actually choose, I am all for starting in Canada, because that means ending in Mexico at your maximum drunk for riding the Three Caballeros attraction. Like, I don't need to be sober for like the rides. So I want to end strong, already just blasted.
Thank you.
You are the first person that's agreed with Eric on this show.
Well, first of all, no, not only did she agree with me, but it was basically for the exact same reason.
Yes, if you're going to tell me choose where you're starting based on the beverages you're going to imbibe, I would choose start in Mexico. I love that bar. But like, my goal is to be like around the entire map, like drunk, I want to be on the Three Caballeros at the end. What am I doing in Canada? They need to put something there to do drunk.
If you start drinking in Mexico and you go tequila right out of the gate, you're not going to make it out of Norway.
I also skip all the beers because I'm allergic to yeast. So I have to find cocktails everywhere.
I don't do beer a whole lot. I'm a beer drinker, but it's just so heavy.
It's so much of you're doing around the world.
Right. Yeah. And by the time I get halfway through, I'm like, I'm not even tipsy or anything. I just don't want any more. I'm full.
Oh yeah, me neither. I don't drink.
Yeah.
Beer for that
Christian
same
would have
reason.
38 pretzels, 27 beers on his way through.
I don't know about the beers, but you're absolutely correct about the pretzels. Oh my goodness. All right. Well, round 4 begins now. And I'm excited for this. No, wait. We are already in round 4.
No,
I just chose that. It's Eric's turn to
trying to pick twice. Already cheating. First show, for crying out loud. All right. Let's see. Obviously, there's a bunch of things I could choose from here. I can't go to DCA anymore because I already picked there. So I'm going to go ahead and remove that pick. I had a lot of DCA picks because obviously there's a lot of things that are going to be built there over the next few years. Chris, you know me. I'm a thrill guy. I love all of the high octane attractions. I want to zip and zoom around a theme park. So I'm going to Shanghai Disneyland. And I'm looking at a Spider-Man roller coaster. That could be absolutely incredible. We've only seen a little portion of it in the artwork. But hopefully this thing will flip you around as much as possible. And maybe they'll be the ones handing out the hard hat and the vest suit and saying, all right, go have fun. So I love Spider-Man. I'm a big Marvel guy, so I can't wait until this thing is built and hopefully get to experience this roller coaster one day.
Yeah, I don't think you're going to go for 2 Spider-Man picks in a row. You might, but so as of now, I'm just giving an honorable mention to the Tower Spider-Man ride that's going into Hong Kong, which also sounds awesome. But this roller coaster, as soon as I saw it, I literally texted Eric and I was like, can I have one of those?
Can we have one of those?
Like what? All right. Well, I guess you've already ruined our Avengers campus, so we can't get all the cool stuff. So you got to give it to the international parks. It's going to be really cool. Sarah, I want to get on this roller coaster as fast as possible.
I think that park deserves a true thrill ride. All they have right now are Tron and the Dwarfs Mine Train, which I will say actually their Seven Dwarfs Mine Train like kind of like hauled more than the one in Disney World. Like, we wrote it as like one of the, we were like, oh, we don't have anything to do right now. Sure, we'll hop on it. It has no line. And we were like, oh, this is like good though. Like, and I'm not like a huge fan of that attraction. Like, I think it's cute, but like it actually like swung.
Oh.
So I was like, oh, they did something right in Shanghai. So I would love to see what they do with like an even like a higher octane coaster over there. I understand thrills aren't like the most sought after thing in China.
Yeah,
but clearly they feel that there's enough of a demand for it.
Right.
For someone who hasn't been there, is it longer than Florida's the Seven Dwarfs Mine Train? Because it can't be shorter.
No, it's like literally identical. It just worked better.
What a miss.
Okay.
I was like, so excited to go.
The exact same track. No, like I just felt that the ride worked better. Like we walked away from that ride. Like we're like, I think we're fans of this ride now. And like we've ridden it like 2-3 times in Disney World, and we're like, that was fine.
They got a different kind of grease out there to make sure those ball bearings are working.
Something like literally whatever it was just working better.
Yeah, and the line's always huge for the one in Florida. And I'm just like, I do enjoy the attraction, but do I enjoy it for a 2-hour wait? Yeah. Not even close. Regardless, Eric, that's a really good pick. If we ever get to go on that roller coaster, I'm gonna freak out. But and Sarah's learning this for the very first time. I've never been out of the country. I have never been to one of these other parks out around the world. So I know, Paris, I know you're mad at me. I got it. I got to get a passport first. I can't visit you without that. But I really want to go to all these international parks. I just haven't been able to do it yet. All right. Whew. Now we go to round 5. The final round already. This is great. Things are going swell. We're all having a good time. We all grabbed a drink at Epcot with me, and apparently you guys go the wrong way. Whatever.
We met you eventually.
Now I'm going to
America.
Now I'm going to a park that Eric has already been to. He's been to Animal Kingdom. He's been to Disney California Adventure. The ride I'm really excited about at Animal Kingdom isn't Indiana Jones. And I am excited for Encanto. Oh, man. Regardless. But I'm really excited for that carousel, but I'm not taking that here because I'm going over to Disney California Adventure. We have so much more going on here. I could technically take that whatever Stark Flight Lab ride that you guys were all knocking on earlier. I'm excited for it, but whatever. I could take a giant Avatar expansion and cool boat ride. No. I'm taking the other boat ride that was announced for Disney California Adventure at D23. Give me a Coco ride because I know the music in this attraction, which just looks like a flume boat ride, but we don't really know. We don't really know many details beyond that. This looks like it's going to be colorful, dark, amazing. I'm really excited for that. And Coco is one of those movies that I didn't love initially, but boy, have I come around on it, and dang, is that music catchy. So I
agree.
Excited.
I was like, this movie has like plot issues, and then I was like, you know what? They kind of don't matter.
Mm-hmm. Well, and this one,
I like upgraded my ranking on that film over time.
And this one kind of comes along with that same issue as my second pick in Monsters, Inc. Where are they putting this attraction? There are a couple of options, right? The one that I was talking to Eric about, I did a little Google mapping, and boy, there's a lot of room behind Toy Story Mania if they wanted to go back there. But
that's what I was thinking as well.
I can tell you, I know some buildings that are back there that are necessary. So
Yeah.
you'd have to find a spot to put those. You probably know that. Eric knows that. We've got to be able to put those somewhere. But if they were to do it, there's a lot of room back there. Either that or they're getting rid of Mermaid. I think I can't imagine.
I don't think they are. I actually heard a theory that they might be using a parking lot across the berm in the same way that like Indiana Jones is basically in downtown Disney.
Whoa.
So I don't have, and I haven't mapped it out yet, but like take a look, because yeah, with a boat they could do all of that.
Gasp. I haven't even thought. Whoa. Regardless.
Because yes, like literally where?
Oh my gosh. No, it really is aware. And unless you're taking out those restaurants, the pizza, pasta, and all that stuff over there. But then you still have the swings and you still have jellyfish, and you can't take out the walkway that goes around the pier. So like, what are you going to do? I'm super excited for this though. Eric, I don't even know if you can see us right now because the sun is creeping up on you.
It's right in my face.
What do you think about this?
I think no, it's a great pick. It's a great pick at number 5. I honestly, in a draft like this, I don't think there's really a whole lot of places we can go wrong. And I think the big anticipation around this one is a where is it going to go question. Interesting theory about that going across the street. They would have to remove a lot of things over there that are infrastructure based, I guess would be the word to use. We know it's all going away eventually. How soon will it be going away is the question. Do you tuck it up against Pixar Place? That's a little far away. Do you stick it in the back corner of the Symbol lot over there? That's probably the closest. Or there's that little, that corner back there where the tram used to go when it took guests all the way around to the Esplanade. So there's definitely space there. But from an attraction standpoint, yes. Again, music is key here, especially on a boat ride. Because if that thing is not hauling, you got to keep people entertained some way. What River Journey, Navi River Journey? Anybody?
Don't bring it up. But hey, there could be a really cool animatronic at the end. Whatever. Dude.
That is sometimes a screen.
Sometimes it feels like it's half the time now.
I know.
But it's no Broken Yeti. But anyway,
make it colorful. Make it a family sing along. That's all you really need to do to keep people entertained, especially back there. You'd think they'd like to keep it close to where Paradise Garden is because they do, Viva Navidad and the Plaza de la Familia and all those things that are Coco related already.
I agree.
Yeah, so we'll see how that all goes.
You know me, Eric. If you're going to call an area a Pixar pier, put the Pixar stuff at it. I know you can't pick up Cars Land. I understand. But don't build other things unless it's in that area. Because, look, and we said it when we talked about D23, and I think a lot of people have been saying it. When are we getting a new name for that theme park? Because Disney California Adventure ain't going to be it forever. It just can't at this point. But if you start putting Pixar stuff over here, but you have the pier over here, and at some point we've got to start using a map of sorts. And how do we? Oh, you want to go to the Pixar area? You walked to the exact opposite side of where it is. Sorry, you walked all the way back here by Toy Story Mania. It's where Monsters used to be. No, come on, build it in the right area. That's all I'm gonna say.
All right, that could have been a whole other episode.
It could, and it probably will be. We'll see. Anyway, that is my round 5 pick. Eric, we turn to you for your 5th round pick, the final pick of the first episode back from this little summer vacation, and we decided to come back on a day that feels like summer anyway.
I'm gonna pick it. I'm gonna do it because I think it's the most anticipated project that was announced at D23 and didn't become that until 3 days later. Because I want to see how they're going to do this, and I cannot wait to see how many people get even more enraged because I like to watch the world burn. Apparently, I'm taking the Cars area at Magic Kingdom, and I'm doing it because I want to see how this goes. I want to see what they're going to put in there because we don't have any terrible specifics yet. I want to see if any part of the river is salvaged. I want to see if the boat is going to be on that potentially salvage part of the river. There is so many questions around this thing, and there's so much pessimism around it that I cannot wait to see how this goes. So I'm taking Cars at Magic Kingdom at number 5 to wrap up this draft. This is both a positive and negative selection from me, because I just think it has the most, publicity surrounding it. And I think everybody's got their eyes squarely pointed on the Rivers of America at Magic Kingdom right now.
Absolutely. Deep breath, Magic Kingdom enthusiasts. Deep breath. Don't freak out. Let's hear what Sarah thinks about this pick.
Okay, so I maybe the unpopular opinion, but I actually think it's really cool that they are willing to think outside the box and utilize Tom Sawyer Island, which is not the kind of popular that it might have been at some point in its life.
Yes.
I think we're not losing it at Disneyland. We are not losing like the full heritage of Tom Sawyer Island existing. I would really doubt that we ever will, because our Fantasmic is prepped there. So I think that we kind of have that safe, like, yeah, we have Mr. Toad on this coast, and you have a much better Winnie the Pooh ride. So, like, let's call it a day kind of situation. My questions are all about not the sanctity of, but sort of the sightlines of Frontierland. I loved what they said about, like, oh, it's like Cars on vacation. I'm like, yeah, sure, like, show me that. But, like, am I going to be seeing Cars, like, from the Old West? Because that is weird.
Yeah. Yep.
But other than that, like, I don't have a problem with them putting it there. I don't have a problem with them using the space and going, like, yeah, let's move in this direction. And maybe we're going to lose Autopia or whatever they call their, Tomorrowland Speedway because of it, because they did say we're getting, over in that same area, a drive your own car experience. And that's a huge footprint over in Tomorrowland.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then that question becomes, go ahead, Eric.
Drive your own car experience like they have at, Legoland.
Oh,
I don't know. Did I bring that up earlier?
All I'm saying is, if their
perfect.
Tomorrowland gets something cool again before ours does, I am going to be so mad. I know you got to have capacity, and so you have to open up. I get it.
But wouldn't our capacity expand with a working Wedway People Mover?
Well, once it's done, yes. But while it's being worked on, that's the problem. Like, you have to shut down all of Tomorrowland, which is why I don't think it gets touched until Disneyland Forward is done.
Yeah,
I agree. Which is why they haven't announced it.
Right.
And it's also unfortunate because some of us might not even be alive by the time that happens, because I think this is a lot longer than this 30-year plan. That I don't know if I'm going to see the end of it. But regardless, what we did see is the end of our draft. And so it is time to get down to the nitty-gritty. This is the reason we are here. Eric, for our fans that are not watching, I think I'm going to have a cool little thing on this. I haven't decided yet, but if you see a cool little thing under us about our, draft boards, that's because I thought it through. If you don't, it's because I got lazy and cut it. Regardless, Eric, for those of the folks that are just listening to us, run down our lists before Sarah makes her big announcement. Oh, wait, before we do, actually run down the list, and then Sarah, before you make the judgment, I have a question for you.
I do want to shout out Sarah real quick for finally somebody having a level head and saying the theme parks are to look into the future and to, new imaginations, and not just leave stuff that's been there just because it was there when it opened. That's not how things work. And if I may dare say so myself, Walt would have taken stuff out too.
Oh,
yep. He did take stuff out.
He did take stuff out, exactly. And he was only around for 11 years of the operation of Disneyland.
And he took out loads of stuff.
Yep.
Oh, thank you. I'm so glad you're here. All right. Let's take a look at our picks in our season 3 premiere. Christian had the number 1 pick today. He went Villain's Land at Magic Kingdom at number 1. Monsters, Inc. coming to Disney's Hollywood Studios. The Walt Disney animatronic coming to Disneyland. The new lounge coming to Epcot, and then the Coco attraction coming to California Adventure. For me, I had number 2 today, and I took Avengers Infinity Defense coming to DCA, the Encanto attraction coming to Animal Kingdom. I almost said it again. And then Lion King attraction coming to Disney Adventure World out in Paris. The Spider-Man roller coaster coming to Shanghai Disneyland, and the Cars area, or I guess expansion of Frontierland, if you will, coming to Magic Kingdom. And I know, Christian, you have a question for Sarah, so we'll go to that first.
Yeah, Sarah, do you think there's anything we missed? Should we have had something else on this list?
Give me like 2 seconds to pull up all of the D23 announcements.
I should have sent it to you because I summarized it on my phone.
Yeah.
Like as the announcements were happening, I was like, "Oh, this."
Let's see. What are some of them?
this.
Anything Disney Cruise Line? I don't think we really wanted to touch the cruise line in this, but we could have technically.
Meh.
Hong Kong getting the drop ride for Spider-Man is going to be pretty cool. I don't know. I'm trying to think.
The drop ride that's coming is interesting to me because the first thing I noticed was, Spider-Man's holding onto the cables that snapped, which means you need to be able to see up through the roof of the ride vehicle. So is that a window? No, they're not going to have the attraction be attached to an animatronic. So it must be LED screens.
Could be interesting. It could be interesting.
Yeah.
We're just still pulling up a thing. I think we got some parades announcements.
Oh, we did. That's right, and some nighttime spectaculars as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, which is not to say that like any of those were like key. Oh, for me, and I'm not even sure if it would have made my draft, but the Zootopia announcement about the Tree of Life, that is huge for me. I think that is such a terrific choice.
I hate it because they're not building a land there yet, but we'll get there.
I won't argue with you there. Indiana Jones could have been a Zootopia ride. Fine.
Oh my gosh! Well, here we go. Let's do it. It's time for the decision. Sarah, who won this draft on the season premiere of Drafting the Magic?
This is a tough call, but I think I'm going to give it to Erik.
Yes.
Oh,
I feel like I pulled it out in the back half.
Oh.
Well, I think for me, what I liked about your choices collectively was that it really pointed to that sort of thinking outside of the box element. But I also thought you really nailed it with your sing-along choices because you got some Lin-Manuel Miranda and some Elton John going on your side, and that's like hard to compete with, even with Kristen and Bobby like pulling it in with Coco over here.
Coco's. Oh man, that is a heartbreaker.
First concert I ever went to, I was 9 years old. Hollywood Bowl, Elton John.
Oh, that must have been incredible.
Oh, it was amazing. And then I saw him again on his Goodbye Yellow Brick Road tour a month before the pandemic.
Oh, my gosh.
Wow.
Or maybe, was it the year before the pandemic or the month before the pandemic? I can't remember. It was in that time frame.
I am distraught. I had this in the bag. I thought I had this in the bag, but apparently
I was strong with villains, obviously.
And Monsters, Inc.
Villains and monsters, man.
I'm floored. I've never yelled after winning before. I really thought that it was going the other way, but it was
a tough choice.
At least we made it tough, right? Sometimes it's not tough. Sometimes it's, well, you know where I'm going.
But I think the multi-park factor actually did really help balance.
Yeah.
Right, yeah, because as soon as I picked Avengers Infinity Defense, I had to cross off every other thing coming to DCA, right? It's like can't touch any of that anymore.
If I had gone Avatar instead of Coco, would I have gotten a dub?
No, definitely not.
Oh, good. Okay, good.
No, Avatar is like a big no for me. I just think we already have one in Florida. And I think that they should invest that money in like an original IP or, something not Avatar would be great.
along those lines too. There are multiple rivers of America. And Walt said he didn't really want to duplicate anything.
That's fair.
Why was it even built in the first place? Get rid of it.
Yep.
Yeah.
I'm going to be saying that about our new Avatar area very soon. As soon as it's open, I'll be like, why is this here? I miss the Hollywood backlot question. Regardless, Sarah, you have been a fantastic guest judge. Before you go, tell everybody where they can find you so everybody can go follow you and see all your cool content.
I am at That Princess Girl on all socials, and I also am the co-founder of The Adventure Effect. You can check out our cool shirts and leggings, and we're heading into Halloween season. Halloween apparel.
Let's go. I'm not a huge Halloween guy, but I like the apparel, so I'll give it to you there. But that being said, Sarah, honestly, thank you so much. It's been a blast, and we hope we can keep chatting with you and maybe have you again on the show pretty soon.
I would love to. This was a delight.
Fantastic. Congratulations on that W from her, Erik.
What a way to start the season.
Nothing like being behind. Anyway, regardless, thanks, Sarah. Have a good one.
Bye.
I can't believe it.
Yo.
You can't believe it.
Nope. Don't care.
Oh my gosh, what a great draft. What a great way to kick off season 1. Huh? Season 3. I'm here, folks. I promise. I'm all here. Regardless, what a great way to kick off season 3. Sara was fantastic. And Erik, what a great way to kick off season 3 and thinking about the future and thinking about all the cool things that could come down the line. Oh, by the way, shout out to the change of picture for you, folks. If you didn't notice, I'm pointing it out. Erik is avoiding the sun, so he's changed the way he's set up.
Trying to, yeah, I know. Look, we don't got a lot of money here. We don't have a budget, so we just make do with what we got. And I don't really have anything to block out that window, so
that's all right. That's okay.
It's fine. It's good. I know the rest of the episode will look like an idiot, but it's fine. It was a great draft. I mean, it tells you how many great things are coming down the pathway that we were able to take 10 things and then be that close in a vote or in a judgment. So lots of things to look forward to, and we'll rewind this in a decade or so and see how many of them actually got done and if they fulfilled all of our wild expectations.
I thought for sure I won this draft.
I did too.
I thought for sure. Like, I'm still questioning it. And the fact that she was like, oh, well, Erik had better sing-alongs. I'm just like, I'm not even in the guest's head. I'm not even in my head. I don't know where I'm at.
Well, it speaks to how we have to do this, right? We don't meet our guest judges until literally moments before we start recording. We give them a rundown of what we're going to do, and we don't have time to get into their head and know what they like and know what they think is a great pick. So you have to make adjustments on the fly. Now, here's the funny thing. Out of my list of 5 things that I wanted to pick today, I was only able to get one of them. And I had to adjust literally the whole way through.
That's ridiculous.
And there was a point where she had talked about the lounge and how much she, and I mean, her shirt had the drinks on it.
Mm-hmm.
When you picked the lounge, I thought, oh, maybe I should go with the Pirates Bar coming also, which then would have taken away my Cars pick. But do I go this way because she has indicated she likes the drinks? And I said, no, I'm gonna stick with what I got, because I was trying to stick with attractions all the way through.
Yeah.
And it ended up working out at the end because she said balance, which I always try to balance out my selections, but you have to make adjustments on the fly and determine whether or not it's worth it to do some things.
I guess so. Well, draft number 1 of season 3 is in the books, and Erik is starting with a 1-0 lead. I already know how this is going to go. This is going to just be a terrible season. But we hope you are with us through the whole time. Make sure you are interacting with the show on all of our social medias. Make sure you go on Instagram. We're doing a lot of cool stuff on Instagram right now, but Facebook, TikTok, X. Is there any other main? I think those are the only main social medias. Also, new this season, you can actually leave us a speak pipe that we can play on the air. What a speak pipe is? Let me explain it to you. Basically, you're going to leave us a voicemail, and it's got to be 90 seconds or something like that. It has to be short and sweet, so you can't go on and on, but tell us your opinions of the show. Tell us who you thought should have won. Tell us what you think about certain topics and, I don't know, projects they're doing. We can play it on the show. So we can actually make you part of the Drafting the Magic experience. I think it would be a lot of fun if you could join us. So make sure you leave a speak pipe, and make sure you go on.
90 seconds is a long time.
You're right. Keep it to like 15. Regardless, the other thing that you really need to go do is leave us a review on Apple Podcasts. 5 stars. Nothing else is acceptable. If you give us a 4-star, we had somebody give, 1 star. This is amazing. You don't know how the stars work. It might have been for another place I work. I don't think that was on Drafting the Magic. But anyway, regardless, know how the stars work. We need 5 stars. Anything else, not good enough. And make sure you leave a review. We'll read the reviews online as well on this video platform we have, or if you're listening to us audio wise, well, you'll still be able to hear it because we're going to read it or whatever. But we really want you to interact with the show this season. We've got a lot of other cool stuff planned too. Erik, it's so good to be back to what we know and love.
Yeah, it was fun. I had a blast prepping for this. a lot coming in our backyard to DCA, so I could only take one of those things, and same with you, because of our rule. But I can't wait for those shovels to hit the ground, and I know some of them have already, and just kind of see how the resort you and I love so much is going to sprout up here over the next decade. So, but great to be back drafting, and looking forward to next week.
Great to be back. We'll see you next time, everybody. Make sure you tell all your friends, share the show, share it with everyone you know. Make sure that they're listening to Drafting the Magic as well. We'll see you next time.